Hey everyone, welcome in to another daily editorial here on the KE Report. I'm getting an update from Graphene Manufacturing Group, traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol GMG. I am chatting with the founder and CEO, Craig Nicol. Now, Craig, we're going to be focusing on one of the three product divisions within the company here. We've talked a lot about the battery division, but it's the thermal XR division that we're going to be focusing on because of the July 27th news release, where the company announced a distribution agreement with Nu-Calgon. Now, this distribution agreement focuses on the markets in the US, Mexico, Canada, and the Caribbean. Let's first talk about who Nu-Calgon is. Can you give us a background on who this company is and why you partnered with them to offer this TXR division to these countries, please?
Hi, Cory. Great to be back on. And we're very excited about this deal. We've been working on it for about 2 years here at GMG, and we're very excited to be working with Nu-Calgon. They're basically the Cadillac of North American HVAC chemicals and coatings company. They're based in St. Louis, Missouri, and have about 4,000 or so different warehouses they ship to supply their products out into the HVAC market for heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration. It's quite a large supply and distribution service. It's been operating for more than 70 years. That was born out of the original Calgon Corporation, which is obviously quite a large corporation. I think the thing to note about this is this is a partnership deal of quite significant proportion, easily the largest kind of milestone distributor deal we've done in GMG to date. And I think this will pay dividends for Nu-Calgon, GMG, and their customers for years to come, in my belief. So very, very happy to see this. They will be looking at placing orders very shortly, which will then enable them to stock up to be able to launch this into those countries you said, United States, Mexico, Canada, and the Caribbean, in early 2024. We've got to do some work to get there, which is obviously turn on our TXR blending plant, which is becoming very, very close to being commissioned, and then obviously make the product for them on their first orders. But we're very, very excited about this.
So is Nu-Calgon going to be incorporating this TXR product into their current distribution, or is it simply just a sales deal where they're looking to resell the TXR product?
Yeah, it's a bit of a combination. So we'll be making the product and sending it to them in bulk, and then they'll be then packaging it in both Nu-Calgon and GMG jointly branded product, which is a real big thing, I think, for us, because they're being one of the best in the space in the world. And so to be able to have that jointly branded in the market in this space with our brand, which is certainly becoming quite a well-noticed feature for energy savings applications, is quite a big thing, and we're very happy to be there. And then they'll be then looking at, as in packing that same product back up into the American style packs, and branding with their branding and our branding, and then distributing that through their 4,000 or so warehouses that they would then sell through their customers. So there's a large amount of opportunity here that, as energy prices go up in the West Coast around California, where we've been told, our sales representatives in California saying that the electricity pricing is up above 50 cents a kilowatt hour now, US, that is. Energy kind of saving products like ours have got huge opportunity to help with a range of energy costs, and especially air conditioning costs, as the heat is also being pretty prevalent this year as well. So, and then in the East Coast, in the Deep South, you've got some real opportunities there to extend the life of the assets of air conditioning systems, so and reduce the rust and prevent corrosion with our thermal XR as well. So it's going to have some really good opportunities in both sides of the of its product performance and both sides of the states, which is great. And of course, obviously in Canada and Mexico, very similar opportunities there as well.
So do you need to put sales representatives in these countries, or is Nu-Calgon going to do that and sell this product for GMG?
Yeah, that's the exciting thing. Nu-Calgon has a number of sales reps all over North America, and so they would then be selling this product through into their distributors, their customers, because they're a master distributor. Their customers are basically distributors to the HVAC market, and some of those are very large companies who we've already been talking to. They're very keen to see this product come into the market to provide another solution for their customers. So Nu-Calgon will be using their sales teams, their distribution networks to basically empower TXR sales, which is fantastic.
So can you give us any financial details on this deal in terms of order size, profit margin, anything on the financial front to judge potential future revenues?
I'd dearly love to. We don't have guidance out yet for the company, but this is obviously a big maturing step for it. We'll be coming out shortly with some stated orders that we've received, just so we can give people clarity on the size. All our distributors have got to hold stock. That's the reason why they become distributors. So there is an order that pretty much comes with that distribution agreement, and we're receiving those, putting together the final touches to those. So once we get that clear, I think we have every intent of coming out and telling people what those order sizes are like. And then we can go to the next step of, obviously then we're starting to see coming into our revenues, into our profit and loss, which is obviously great. And so it really is showing GMG is maturing into that next stage of a company's life, which is into commercial operations and building and scaling up through that, which is absolutely extremely exciting. We're coming up to our 7th year anniversary in about 4 days, so I think it's absolutely about time.
So can you remind everybody where you have distribution deals now in place if we include this Nu-Calgon deal?
Yeah, so far we've announced we have South Korea, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and Thailand. And that's enabling us to get a pretty good footprint in a lot of countries where we've already done a lot of work. Even in America, we've got already a couple of projects we've done, and we've got to do some more projects, obviously shortly with Nu-Calgon as a supply partner, as our distributor. So when you get a number of projects in country, it definitely helps to convince people of the benefits of this product. And so, yeah, I think that list, it's roughly, of course, on top of the 4 or 5 with Nu-Calgon, you're sitting at around 7 or 8 different regions. We'll obviously be adding to that as it grows on, but that's already a good base for us to start to see some sales come in, which is fantastic.
One other aspect of this news release that I want to ask you about is EPA approvals for Thermal XR. Take us through what you still need to do to get approved in some of these countries that are associated with this Nu-Calgon deal.
Yeah, great questions. So we've already got Australian approvals that we got them in February for Thermal XR, and that enables us to make it and sell it. And now we're looking at wherever we sell that product. In some countries around the world, that Australian approval is enough. In other countries, they actually want you to have separate approvals. We're reviewing Canada, but we genuinely think Canada is okay. And we're reviewing the other countries in Nu-Calgon distribution agreement. But with America, you have the ability to have a introductory type approval to bring in new chemicals such as this with nanomaterial in it. And we believe we're pretty confident. We're working with a range of different companies to help us, including Nu-Calgon, to help us pull through that EPA approval. There are graphene products approved in the EPA in America, so we're not going to be the first. And we have the Australian approval, which is a very similar type of approval process. So we're pretty confident that that won't slow down our sales. And in fact, we think that could be done before we ship the product out when we actually get to do that in the next few months.
Okay, so Craig, you also mentioned that TXR blending plant. Can you give us more information on this? Do you need to scale up production to satisfy potentially some of these orders in these distribution agreements?
Yeah, we've got a range of stock already, which will be sufficient enough to be able to take care of a lot of orders. And then we've got then the ability to switch on our TXR blending plant, which has a very large capacity, easily hundreds of thousands of litres. And that blending plant is on a path to being commissioned in the next couple of weeks. It's very exciting. The plant's coming together, and it's a lot of IP that we've actually put together to actually make this blending plant work. And so it is not just a normal coating paint blending plant. It's actually a very sophisticated plant that it enables us to get a really high dispersion, a really good mix of our graphene into the coating. And so when that switches on, of course, it will be a milestone, and we'll definitely announce that. But it's not too far away. I think basically the plant's in line and actually installed, and we're going through the motions of making sure everything is connected up. That then has, as I said, the ability to produce hundreds of thousands of litres a year, and which is obviously a fantastic thing for the company to be able to have that all in one warehouse, where we also making our graphene, because our graphene expansion plant is also being built there as well at the same time.
Okay, well, Craig, we talked a lot about the thermal XR division here. Can we get any updates on the battery division? We've talked a lot about that. I know a lot of investors are interested in especially what's going on with those pouch packs. What can you tell us in terms of battery developments and what we can be looking out for?
Yeah, we've got a range of things happening there. It's really quite exciting. We've got a pouch cell that is being built daily now with quite a high number of layers. We need to get to 25 layers to be able to make the first test battery for Rio Tinto under a JDA. We have another 9 to 10 months to do that by under our calendar. Early days yet, but we are looking quite good there, and we're at 12, and we've just commissioned our automatic battery stacker, semi-automatic battery stacker, which is going to enable us to get to 25, because you just can't do this manually. You need to have very high tolerance for accuracy. Otherwise, the cathode anode will touch or fall the battery. So we're working through that well, and I have to say that's very attractive as an outcome for the company, because it really shows we can push this through to the next level. And we're obviously moving towards a really tight space that we need to get to, which is to develop this battery for these large haul trucks for Rio Tinto, and that's also going in quite good step. We're definitely moving in the right direction, and we're very happy with the progress.
So, Craig, I'm going to select just a couple questions that have come in since we're talking about the batteries and some of that EV market. One question asking if graphene can be used in heat pumps like those in Tesla electric vehicles. Can you give us an update here? Is this a possibility?
Yeah, so we could definitely use graphene in heat pumps and thermal XR in heat pumps with respect to the cooling radiator that's normally used in a heat pump, or what's called the evaporator coil and the condenser coil. Also, what's great is that which are obviously used in your electric vehicles, and that's certainly an application that we would be able to help with. And then the other thing is we've been able to, and we've shown videos on our website where we're able to melt ice a lot faster on actually sitting on thermal XR. And so with the cold weather, with you have ice outside, and you have to do the defrost cycle to remove the ice on the outside coils for a heat pump, we can show that we can remove that ice a lot faster. So therefore the startup phase for the heat pump should be when it's really cold and icy outside, is obviously a lot quicker, and it can save a lot of energy there as well, and reduce your maintenance issues there. So it's certainly an application we've done some testing on. Looks very attractive. Certainly when North America gets into the cold winter months, I'm sure we'll find some good applications there coming through.
All right, final question before I get you out of here. Deals with the company. Are you willing to provide small samples of graphene to lithium battery manufacturers? I know this has been in the news a lot, especially with that solid-state battery developed by Toyota, but have you been providing samples? Will you provide samples of graphene to these battery manufacturers to potentially enhance their batteries?
We've usually started out supplying graphene to many different large battery companies in throughout Asia and America many years ago, and we found out, yes, that graphene is great in a solution where the graphite, which is sitting on the anode, is dipped into our graphene kind of solution or liquid, and it increases the rate tolerance. So it increases the ability to be able to increase the charging rate and discharge rate, and increases the energy density by a couple of percent, which is great for some of the batteries. And that was a strategic decision we made, was to actually look at including our graphene into our own battery tech, which of course for our aluminium-ion battery, it's basically a 50% graphene, 50% around their aluminium battery. Whereas if we were to go into a lithium battery, we might only be seeing around 0.1% graphene kind of additive. And then you're really at risk of that company swapping you out on the next tender round. So you can do a lot of work to get your battery grade graphene into those battery companies. And then, you become at risk of being swapped out whenever somebody else comes along with a new product. So you really get marginalized into these kind of commodity plays. But it takes a lot of effort and time and cost to actually get into those. So we made a strategic decision to go with our own battery tech, and much greener and easier to supply and make. And overall, we believe a better battery opportunity is the aluminium-ion battery, and we still think that's definitely what a good decision we made. From time to time, we get some battery companies asking for it, but there is a lot of testing to put even the remotest amount of product into a new battery, and that's what a battery company does, continually testing. And so hence we tend to focus on our own products. So we don't really tend to look to follow up with other battery testing, as we don't see that as a strategic direction for the company.
Okay, Craig, thank you very much for this update. Please, everyone, keep sending me your questions. I'll bring Craig back on in the next few weeks to address all the other questions that have come in. I just wanted to highlight this recent news. And, well, as we move forward here, Craig, I'm sure I'll get more emails. So I'll look forward to talking to you in the next couple of weeks. Thank you again for this update. I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Cory.